I mentioned it earlier, Washington being the kind of the sad story of the past weekend.
Definitely.
I mean, anybody else have anything that kind of shocked you, a team that kind of really let you down?
I mean, Miami and Notre Dame was expected because every year I feel like they just get so much more hype than they deserve, especially Notre Dame almost letting Florida State just like
Florida State played well. That was a very
Florida
good game.
State owned that game.
Yeah.
That was
Unfortunately, their Florida State's kicker missed the shorter field goal after he drained the 50-yarder literally seconds before.
Yeah.
Florida State gave that one away, but those two teams I really wouldn't say disappointing. I do think honestly one of the bigger disappointments or like one of the bigger letdowns was North Carolina.
Yeah. As someone that owns them in our fantasy league, yeah.
I would say North Carolina was a big letdown.
It was a shot in the balls.
Because there was a lot of hype behind Mac Brown and them Tar Heels. He's back to one of his original teams, and people were like, this is it. And then it was just week one off to a not-so-great start.
Very disappointing.
And to defend North Carolina a little bit, I mean, not defending them as a whole, but the question for Mac Brown and his team was always going to be, can he put it together defensively this year? Can he hold teams under 30 points? And they held Virginia Tech to 17 at home on the road week one, but their offense came out and put up 10. The Heisman Trophy candidate comes out and throws for 203 picks. I mean,
not looking good.
What? Like, what is that?
By the way, Chris said 200 yards and 3 picks. It sounded like you said 203
Oh,
picks.
my bad.
Like
yeah, 200 yards
203 interceptions.
It felt like it. It felt like it.
No, I think Washington was bad. I still think my upset of the week was Duke losing to Charlotte.
Oh, that's a good one, too. That's pretty rough. Charlotte,
Charlotte 49ers.
Yeah, the University of North Carolina at Charlotte picked up their first win over a Power 5 team in their school history.
Put 31 on them.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, they did.
What did Duke score?
28.
Damn,
yeah.
That's rough.
Charlotte scored with 25 seconds left. Scored a touchdown with 25 seconds left.
But still, you should. Yeah. Duke shouldn't be a football program right now.
Yeah, it's sketchy. It's sketchy. Did you have anything?
Well, I mean, I was going to say, Clemson, of course, not putting up any offensive production at all. But my question would become with that game was, because I heard this the other day when I was listening to, I can't remember who it was, but do you think that, because Clemson returned 4 starters on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So do you think they just aren't clicking on offense at all? Or was Georgia that good?
I think.
Second part of the question is do you think Clemson is on the decline at this point because they're not switching up their offensive game plan, because they run the same offense they've been running for the last 5-6 years, which has helped them. But at the same time, if you don't evolve with everybody else, you're going to fall behind what other people are doing.
I think Georgia is probably one of the stoutest defenses in the nation this year.
And Georgia's defensive line, honestly, is just a bunch of men amongst boys. The defense is stout. Clemson, I don't know if it's like the start to decline, but you have to start to be a little concerned as the coaching staff. If you've got the whole offensive line coming back and you were allowing that many sacks and that much pressure, there's an issue there. But also, you got to remember, people bring up the fact, neither team scored an offensive touchdown. Georgia was also shorthanded by a lot that game. I think it was up to almost 8 players that they had that were not playing or just weren't 100%.
Yeah.
That's a big factor in the production there.
Well, I was going to say, just to be clear, I'm not saying they're on the decline. I'm just saying that's what people were saying. Because
I sent you that article in the group chat. There's people already talking about how should Clemson burn everything down. I was like, you lost one game.
I wouldn't say burn it down, but I would say you need to go out, and Tony Elliott needs to look at changing up his offense to a degree.
DJ did not look comfortable back there under
not
pressure.
at all, and I think that comes from just the stout, how big Georgia's defensive line.
Jordan Davis is what, 6'6", 350?
360.
If you really want to talk about, that's DJ's first actual real game.
It is, yeah.
He played the Notre Dame game in the middle of the season last year, which we've always talked about. We think Notre Dame is a little bit overhyped, but I think DJ looked really bad. But I'm gonna say this: did Clemson look any better against Ohio State in the playoffs last year? No.
But I thought
they at least scored.
their defenses, though, I thought both defenses looked really well.
Yeah.
I think it was that,
I've been a big fan of Georgia since the end of last year and when JT Daniels said he was coming back to Georgia. I think that was the moment for me that I said, okay, Georgia has a legitimate shot at winning a national title in 2021 because of the fallout of what had left Clemson, what had left Alabama, what was leaving Ohio State. The teams the other teams weren't living up to the hype anyways. I mean, Notre Dame was losing Ian Book. So, for me, it shocked me a little bit that Clemson didn't play better than they did. I think Tony Elliott, I don't know that he's got to change his offense. I think they just need to figure out what DJ as a young quarterback right now is comfortable doing.
What's his system?
Because Tony Elliott really, I mean, he built his system. It's been there for years now, and they've recruited to it. DJ can run Tony Elliott's system better than, truth be told, better than Trevor Lawrence ever could. Because Tony Elliott likes to get the quarterback involved in the run game to help spread out the field and kind of back off the defense a little bit.
But he did that with Trevor.
He did a little bit of it with Trevor. He did more of it with Deshaun Watson, and I think that the Deshaun Watson style player, which I think DJ is closer to, maybe a little less accurate right now, and obviously doesn't have the playmaking mind.
I said because DJ I felt like when the pressure came and he needed to leave the
panicked.
pocket,
He panicked.
He froze.
Turned into
Yeah,
Taj.
It looked like Taj Boyd.
Like Taj Boyd.
Yeah, he looked like a young quarterback. I mean, he is. He played 2 games last year.
I mean, but at the same time, this is probably a top 3 defense in the nation, if not the top. Georgia,
yeah.
Yes.
Georgia has out-recruited Clemson and other programs. I mean, Georgia has been in the top 2 for 3 straight years for a reason, and they have stacked a crap ton of talent. And the big question that I said to him when he was trying to decide whether to play Georgia against Clemson or not is, do you believe that all of the talent that Georgia has, they can put it on the field and make it happen? And you saw it on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change for Georgia. They got a big game against Florida, but the rest of the schedule, I mean, watch out.
For them. Yeah.
Watch out. Because that defense that you saw on Saturday is now Georgia's defense in 2021.
Yeah. And, I mean, it didn't help. I mean, I know Clemson was missing a few players, but like you said, but so was Georgia, probably on both sides of the ball. I didn't see that.
Georgia was actually missing 3 of their top tight ends, which kind of hinders your offense a little bit in the passing game and in the running game. For them.
Especially when you run your offense through the tight ends.
Yeah, when you you typically have 1 tight end on the field. I mean, for them, that really kind of hurt them. But at the end of the day, they still made it work. Yeah.
Granted, like you said, though, earlier, not a single offensive touchdown was scored.
Yeah.
So,
but Georgia was able to, when you look at Georgia's total offensive
the
numbers, they were able to move the ball up and down the field a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
well, it almost seemed like that's what they wanted to do.
Here's just hoping that South Carolina can score a touchdown next week.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Did y'all have? I know I did personally. Did y'all have any team that really, really surprised you this past week?
Tulane
hanging with Oklahoma.
Well, not only hanging, but the Oklahoma put up 40 in the first half.
Yeah.
And then Tulane shut them out in the second half.
Yeah.
And put up, 20 points, 21 points, something like that?
Something like that. It was a 40-35 game.
Yeah, it was like 40-14 at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
And they shut them out in the second half.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Florida State watching that game.
Yeah, Florida State was them,
especially when McKenzie Milton came out there. Because the quarterback lost his helmet, so they let him go in there, and he threw that damn 20, 30-yarder just missile, just dart, dime, whatever, just perfect throw. You can almost see the other quarterback was like, "Damn it!" Well, that was it. It was just like, here goes the 5th-year senior that's got the most amazing backstory and is about to just take my job from me.
Who shouldn't be walking at this point?
Yeah.
But no,
I mean, he came in there and he led the offense. He took over the game, but the whole game, Florida State was just, their defense was clicking, the offense was clicking. It was kind of cool to see the Florida State team being as efficient as they were and working,
in a long time
the way they were going. Yeah,
I feel like in the last few years, this has been a few years.
They've been wanting this bad,
yeah.
And then that stadium was just packed and it was rowdy. It was a hell of an atmosphere and game to watch.
So yeah, that Florida State was mine.
Yeah,
shock of the week too.
UCLA was mine, and I'll be honest. Like, I watched the UCLA and Hawaii game in week 0, and I thought, it's Hawaii. UCLA got a lot of breaks. They started 2 drives within the 15-yard line of their goal. I mean, they just got really lucky, and it was just something. And then week 1 came around, they brought number 16 LSU home, and they put it on LSU. Like, the score doesn't look, but it was maybe 2 touchdowns, but
LSU didn't look great. Though LSU did not look
and UCLA looked really good. And I tell you, UCLA plays an old school Chip Kelly offense. They don't throw the ball a whole lot. They like to run it with multiple running backs and their quarterback. But their defense is so aggressive. They are taking shots every play. They're trying to hit you as hard as possible.
Florida State looked the same way to me.
They're shooting as many gaps as possible. They're jumping routes. I mean,
they're trying to
UCLA is going to get
and interceptions is what they're going for.
UCLA is going to get burnt by somebody at some point this year, and they're going to lose like 60-15 because they just
press coverage, try to bump you at the line. Next thing you know, you just swat the hands and the receiver's gone on.
Double moves and screens and all kinds of things are just going to beat them. But the way they're playing and the amount, I was actually pretty impressed with the way UCLA actually handled LSU.
But I like Florida State. The physicality that they played on defense was really good. Like we were saying, I think they've been looking to get back to that brand of football for several years now. And I finally think that it's finally clicking. And
y'all think the crowd helped at all?
At Florida State? Hell yeah.
Just a little bit.
Having people in the stands might have helped just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, I think the coach made the right call at the end of the game.
Yeah.
As far as challenging
the challenge,
play.
You have to.
You have to. I mean, I'd rather take a 38-yard field goal than a 50-yard field goal. But at the same time, you essentially ice your
now,
kicker.
if that kicker had went out there and made that kick, you would have seen the college football tuck rule. That's all they would have been talking about, was if that was a tuck or if that was a pass.
I think, looking at it, I think it was a pass because I think he was losing it here. But had he actually got this downward motion and got it like down towards the hip, I would have been like.
There's one angle me and Chris saw to where it's kind of like towards the front of the QB, and when McKenzie's arm's like right about here, you can see clear separation beginning between his hand and the ball. So it definitely seemed like it was a pass. But then there's another angle where it showed that the ball didn't really come out of his hand until it was lower. And it was just, it was a bunch of just conflicting ideas.
It was a 50-50 at that point.
Yeah.
But I think it was the right call. You have to at least challenge it, especially your kicker is a what? Sophomore? What is he?
I think he's a sophomore, junior.
Either way, his longest to career was 42. He just went and kicked a 43-yarder to put you back within 3.
He already broke his career long.
Tie the ball game.
He just broke his career long.
And now you're asking him to go hit a 50 in overtime.
Granted, he did hit the 50 because they drilled it. As they blew the play dead so they can initiate the challenge, they snapped it and he kicked it. And like most good special teams will do. They will get the snap off to kick it no matter what.
Yeah. You saw it tail back in and he hit it from 50.
That thing was a line drive, though. That ball had no air under it. He put nothing but toes on that bad boy and was like, okay.
It's got to go.
Full sin.
Made it. But then, I think on the flip side of this, you ice your own kicker, challenging the play almost.
Yeah.
And so at first I thought they took the timeout. I'm like, why are you taking the timeout? And then that's when they said it was under review. And I agree that I think they made the right call, but they iced their kicker.
Any good coach would challenge that.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, like you said, especially when you're uncertainty about your kicker being able to make a 50-yarder potentially again.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the 38.
Statistically, his odds are going to be so much better to shoot that from the 30s.
All right, so solid recap of week 1. Y'all ready to drink a beer?
Yeah.
Drink a beer. So we'll catch you next time. If you aren't, make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Well, actually, we don't have Twitter anymore, but Instagram, Facebook, and Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of the above.